Hey, I'm T-Mech, and this is inspired by Alix Perez. Alright, so I was browsing sounds that I could make for you guys, and I was having some trouble finding anything that really made me go, oh wow, that's cool. And then I stumbled onto this Alix Perez tune that has a nice rubbery, stretchy bass to it. And I love those things, and they're so simple, so I wanted to show you how to get it done. So here we go. Okay, we're in Ableton, and here's the original loop, which is Vibrations by Alix Perez. So it's got a really nice, stretchy, rubbery tone to the bass, and I wanted to get something similar going on in my patch. So I think I got there. Let's have a quick listen to my loop. So it's not exactly the same, but the core sound is there. Let's go into how I built it. Okay, I'm interrupting this video to let you know that I have started a Patreon, and there is a link in the description, and you can get over to the Patreon and you can find out all the different tiers and find out what benefits there are to signing up. And it would really help me to keep doing this thing, which I like doing. You like it. Let's do it together. It's going to be great. So join the Discord, maybe join the Patreon if you want to support the channel, and link in description. And back to the video. I'll turn off this delay, and other than that, these effects aren't doing anything. The limiter's just bringing the volume up. Jump into Serum. And there's a few things going on, and actually most of the articulation is covered by the mod wheel. So the reason I've used the mod wheel rather than the macro knobs is that I have easy access to a mod wheel on my desk. It's really easy to roll through values and modulate the sound. I could use a macro knob for the same articulations, or I could use an LFO, but I just wanted to muck around with a mod wheel today, so that's how I've done it. Let's go through the effects and turn them off. And I've switched off the filter. So we just have the oscillator A and sub. And this sounds pretty standard. So it's a Reese super sorry kind of thing. Detune's pulled down a little bit, blend is pushed up a bit, and the sub is on a squared sine. So the sub by itself is just this. And the oscillator A by itself is this. So that's a pretty common starting point for me. And oscillator B we're not using. So the filter setup on this one is a little bit strange. What I wanted to do was to pull out the bass from oscillator A. So I only have oscillator A going to the filter. So I used a high pass filter to do that. And if I turn off the sub without the filter and with the filter. So it's pushed up the levels a bit because of the drive, but it's actually pulled out a little bit of that bottom bass note. This guy. So LFO2 is also assigned to the filter cutoff, and it's just on a tiny amount. And so it just wobbles the filter cutoff a little bit. I felt like just a static filter was just a bit boring. So having the cutoff modulate just the tiniest bit makes a big difference to the overall sound. So heading to the effects page, we've got a low pass filter. So without the filter and with the filter. And the mod wheel is assigned to the filter cutoff. So as I sweep the mod wheel, the combination of those two resonances from the two different filters sweeping upwards has a pretty intense effect on the sound. Now, for the distortion unit, it makes a pretty big difference. Here's before, and here's after. What I've done is I've used the cross shaper, and I've edited A to just give it a bit more of a curve. By default, it starts like this, and I've just pushed up the midpoint. So it gives it a much more overdriven and messed up kind of sound, which is really effective with the resonance sweeping through. You can really hear it pops out the resonance a little bit. Now I've got two spatial effects, so delay and reverb. So this is without, and this is with. And you can hear they do nothing. They do nothing because the mod wheel is assigned to the mix parameter. So as I bring the mod wheel value up, they'll come back into the mix more. And so that was to replicate some automation that's going on in the original track. And then I've got a pretty subtle little EQ, just pushing the tops a bit, just to make things sound a little bit clearer. So that's essentially the sound. You could also put it in mono legato mode, so it sweeps around a little bit. The thing which makes a sound like this interesting is the modulation that you get by manipulating things as it's playing. So I'll start the loop playing. Hey, so that was inspired by Alix Perez. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.